We are going to continue with our theme 2, which is transportation. You can see a number of complex components. During the next couple of days, you will get a chance to see what they are and why they are and what is the opportunity. All these particular ones are automotive. You would not think of a high volume, cost sensitive industry with a high legal liability if something were to go wrong, even 1 in a million. But there are major opportunities to disrupt in this space. One example, simple example, is it takes 40 weeks to get tooling for a prototype of a new design. Okay, that means 2 to 3 year design cycle before parts are sent to manufacture. For the parts producer, it's a 2-year acceleration into the whole thing by taking advantage of this. For the design engineers designing for automotive, this is crazy because what would take 2 to 3 years to go through qualifying components, right? They could do it within the span of a capstone design program. They could go through many different iterations. These guys are ready to do that. We will see one example of that. And then we'll see another example of something even more high-flying, UAVs, and what you can do with that. So before we launch into that, I would like to thank Kevin Shurn for coming here to support us. Local Louisville businessman, 1 person to fabulous success story. Here to impress all of you kids, young and old, that you can do it too. Let's give a hand to Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello? Okay, I guess it's on. Now I'm going to use this podium because I have a little speech here prepared just so that I can remember a few notes. But more importantly, I want to test something on you guys. One thing about being an entrepreneur is you try to take advantage of opportunities. So by me being here speaking to you, I said, well, this is something I've been wanting to do, so I'm going to test it on you, okay? Now, how many groups are here? Actually, I think I understand you're supposed to be various different innovation groups here today. Is that correct? With different ideas. Can I see a show of hands of who those groups are? Or you are seated at individual tables? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's like 6 different groups, is that right? 10 different groups. Is everybody here now? Okay. And I'm listed here as I didn't see that. Look at that. A journey in entrepreneurship. So I guess I'm supposed to be here to tell you a little bit about my story, okay? Let you know something you can do. Now, who all's here, even though you're on these teams, who really wants to be an entrepreneur? Can I see a show of hands? Now, wait a minute. So that means the rest of you just here for a grade? Is that... Okay, well, I recommend that you use that knowledge and education to get into the entrepreneurial field. That's what I did, okay? That's what I did. Don't have near the education you guys have, but I had the desire and the passion to take a risk to make a difference, okay? And I got started... Well, first of all, I'm similar to a lot of you guys because I went to school. I actually graduated from high school, and I know you don't believe it, but it's 1974 is when I graduated from high school. But in 1970, and by the way, I'm from St. Louis, but in 1970, I was selling soda at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, okay? I was 14 years old. I lied about my age. He had to be 16. So that was my first professional selling job. So regardless of what you do, just keep in mind you need to be able to sell those ideas and your services no matter what it is you're doing, okay? No matter how many degrees you might have in mechanical engineering, whatever you might do, keep in mind when you put those plans together, have someone there that can go out and establish relationships and develop relationships, okay? And help to sell those ideas. Because some of the greatest ideas don't mean anything if you can't sell them. So I'm going to get started here with give you a little bit about my background. First of all, being an entrepreneur is both a rewarding and challenging endeavor. And the entrepreneurial spirit is a gift nurtured throughout childhood by my father that inspired me to become the best I could be. So, so this disadvantaged youth and all this type of things you hear about, that does not have to be a state of existence. It's a state of mind. And it was not a state of mind in my house, okay? I was fortunate enough to have both parents that made sure we were very confident as we grew up, okay? It's a passion where positive thinking and ambition connect. I am driven by opportunities I'm able to create and relationships I develop. My parents raised me to be an independent thinker, and I confidently believed that I could do anything I put my mind to. When I was 18 years old, my father gave me a book entitled Think and Grow Rich. Has anyone heard that book? Raise your hands if you have. Okay, see now, you guys read all these fantastic books, but I was given one when I was 18 years old that actually was actually a book about success principles and things you need to do. It was Napoleon Hill is the author, and he went around and he talked to successful entrepreneurs all over the country and the world and came up with this book of success principles. So when I was 18 years old, my father gave me that book, and I used that book as the guideline to plan my future. That was at 18 years old. The book discussed various characteristics such as self-confidence, persistence, personality, and a mastermind concept based on working with others. Now, even though you guys have various different groups here, I would recommend that you also consider collaborating amongst each other, because we're all about partnership. Nowadays, you have to partner and collaborate to be successful, so just kind of keep that in mind. I took these principles and developed them into a personal success plan. I established high standards of living and working as a result of these success principles. The biggest hurdle I have had to overcome is the perception of having limited capabilities due to being a minority business owner. It's unfortunate that minority business has been stereotyped as a lesser service provider than majority-owned companies. So as a result, I've tried to position myself to be one of the best in this industry. And today we are considered one of the best in what we do. My professional career started as a co-op student, as a senior in high school in my hometown of St. Louis. I went to vocational school for drafting and design engineering for 4 years. Okay, so back then we had a 4-year trade school. That's kind of a thing of the past nowadays where everybody's trying to get back to. But I went to trade school for 4 years. My senior year, I was given the opportunity to go work in the field for a manufacturing company. So in 1974, when I graduated, I was actually working professionally and being paid to draw and engineer parts. And that's back when you had key punch operators, okay? You had NC control machines, but you had tape readers and things like that. You didn't have the CNC machines back then. Shortly after I started to work as my senior year, I was fortunate enough, I graduated from the trade school and my high school. I went to trade school half a day and regular school half a day. And right as I finished the school, then my job was no longer, it was at a aeronautical parts manufacturing company that I worked for, which is one of the applications for this 3D printing, even today. So as you know, it has to be highly precision-made parts, and I was actually on the board doing that work. That's back when you had the T-square guys, long before CAD, computer-aided design and drafting. So when I left there, I went to work for a consulting engineering firm. Worked there for about 6 months. Meanwhile, I'm putting in applications all over the place because I've graduated from high school, and I got a job with a consulting engineering firm where I did a drawing. By that time, I was a design draftsman. In fact, I made my own cards up, said design draftsman, okay? And after 6 months with them, I was actually offered a job by a company by the name of Fulton Ironworks Company, which was a manufacturing company that made sugar mill machinery, precision boring tools, tooling, special machinery. We also reconditioned metal forming and metal cutting equipment and did a lot of hydraulic stuff, things like that. I started off at that company as a design draftsman. I was promoted in '76 to assistant sales manager of the press division, the punch press division. Then in 1979, I was promoted to manager of contract manufacturing for another division. Now, that division required me to go out and get business to bring to our facility to manufacture. Okay? So now I'm in the manufacturing contracting business of getting someone else's products and services.